Quad the fraud. Quad the fraud. Quad the fraud.
Quad the fraud already knew that she wasn't able to have kids from she was with Dr. G. Yes, she knew. No, she's able to talk about it while she's with King because obviously she's more comfortable with King. And I guess, no, she feels like she can come clean. No, she feels as if she can come clean. Excuse me, guys, I was talking in a different dialogue. But now she feels as if she can come clean and let everyone know. And everybody oversees what really happened and what might have happened while she was with Dr. G. While she was with Dr. G, obviously, she wasn't able to get pregnant. She was not able to give the man a child. And I kind of feel bad, because I actually kind of like Quad the fraud while she's off the show. Because there are times where I have commented to Quad on her Instagram, and Quad the fraud have replied to me, and she seemed to be a nice person. But I believe that Quad wasn't able to give Dr. G a child, and she knows that because now she's doing IVF. Now all of a sudden you are with Dr. King, all of a sudden you know that you're not able to get pregnant. Girl, please. That is why she was always so angry, because girlfriend already knew that she wasn't able to get pregnant from she was with Dr. G. Come on, guys, think about it. Sweet Tea was able to come onto the show and be vulnerable and let everyone know that she wasn't able to get pregnant, and she's gonna have to go through this and she's gonna have to go through that. And Dr. Heavenly bashed her, and Dr. Heavenly said she knew she wasn't able to get pregnant, and she tied the man, and she this and she that. Well, I don't know what is wrong with Dr. G, why Dr. G is so salt. And when I say salt, means bad luck. Why he picked up two women that are not able to get pregnant for him. At this point, is it Dr. G that is the problem? Doctors, have you tested that to see if Dr. G is the one with the problem? Well, maybe not, because we know that Sweet Tea, according to her, has some medical issues. But yes, I do believe that Quad the fraud did know that she was not able to get pregnant from the time that she was with Dr. G, and she knows it. Everybody knows it, but she's more well, not everybody knows it, because obviously they're not using their brains and they're not talking about it. And if they know, they're not talking about it because they choose to talk about whatever they want to talk about. Just like Toya knowing things about Dr. Heavenly and her son being locked up allegedly, and she doesn't talk about it. Everybody hides things and they talk about what they want to talk about. Anyways, Quad the fraud was not able to get pregnant for Dr. G. I apologize, Quad, because I like you off the show. Yes, I do. But let's see if she's really gonna get pregnant for King.
Remember when Mariah called her Quad the fraud? Yeah, we all thought it was just drama, just petty reality TV shade. But here's the thing. Mariah was trying to tell us something. She was warning us that what we see on screen isn't always what's real. That Quad's entire persona might just be an act, and now the evidence is right in front of us, because this whole storyline Quad's been pushing about desperately wanting to have a baby with a man she's not even married to, it doesn't add up at all. And when you dig into her past, the receipts tell a completely different story. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear is going to make you question everything. Let's rewind. 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago,
to recommend.
Right, so I did something very unique. Initially, I was with a physician. She was amazing, had been in the business for 30 years, very informative, but it was still very unsettling. She wanted to do a myomectomy on me. And I did not want to commit to, at some point that I were to get pregnant and have a baby, then I would have to have a cesarean, because my muscles would not be strong enough to push for the baby to come out naturally. And I was very fearful of that. And so I just did research. I just thrusted myself into research. Luckily, I have friends who are physicians, OBGYNs, and I learned about the Assessor procedure. And at that point, I just felt like it was better for me. And I decided to go with that route. And while it's not wildly popular, it was a great option for me.
Can you just briefly, for people listening, talk a little bit about, so people hear myomectomy and you know what that means. Talk a little bit about myomectomy versus the radio frequency treatment that Quad had.
Well, what you had, the radio frequency ablation procedure,
Yes.
we don't have time to go into detail, but basically you have some small incisions made on the belly, very small incisions, and then the doctor will look by way of the laparoscopic ultrasound
Yes.
probe.
Right.
And then they'll put a little electrode array into that fibroid. They'll heat the fibroid up to destroy it.
Right.
And then over time, the patient's body will slowly and safely just absorb that tissue.
Absolutely.
So it's an option, but for one person, the right option might be hormonal birth control. For another person, it may be a progesterone-containing IUD. It might be a uterine artery embolization. It may be just the myomectomy, which is surgical removal of the fibroid, or it may be a hysterectomy. But as a woman, you have the right to know your options.
Absolutely.
And you have a right to know which option is best for you, but realize that not every option is appropriate for every circumstance.
How are you feeling since you had the procedure?
I feel great.
Good for
I
you.
feel so good. Listen, and so I'm not having those long periods anymore.
So annoying.
I'm like 5 days. Yeah.
Well, and Quad, you listen to your body, but you put it off.
Yeah.
So what have you learned, and what's your message to everybody listening?
Great question. I think that I know we have to do a lot. I know that we are committed. I know that we don't want to disappoint. But when you are negating to listen to your body, you are neglecting yourself. And I don't want people to do that. A lot of things can be prevented, right? But we tend to kind of get away from that because it's like, oh, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. The time is now. It's right now. So don't neglect your body. We only get one.
I think you're a wonderful representation of listening to your body, and we wish you nothing but success going forward, both in life, business, but more importantly with your health.
Yes.
Quad sits down for interviews, opens up, gets vulnerable. She talks about her struggle with fibroids, the pain, the complications, the heartbreak of not being able to conceive. She shares her truth, or at least what seemed like her truth at the time. Sound familiar? It should, because Sweet Tea is going through the exact same thing right now. The same medical struggles, the same emotional roller coaster, the same questions about motherhood. But here's where it gets messy. Quad has been open about this before. She's talked about her inability to conceive. She's discussed her fertility challenges on record, so why is she acting like it's brand new information now? Let's talk about what's happening this season. Quad is suddenly telling everyone, the cast, the cameras, the world, that she wants a baby. With a man she's not married to. Pause. That's not empowerment. That's not modern motherhood. That's a red flag the size of a billboard. It makes her look like she just wants to be someone's baby mama for the sake of a storyline. But here's the kicker. She's talking about wanting a baby, while conveniently leaving out the part about her fibroid-related fertility issues. The same issues she openly discussed years ago. Why the sudden secrecy? Why pretend this is new when the internet has receipts? It doesn't make sense unless it was never about having a baby at all, and that's when it clicks. Mariah wasn't just throwing shade, she was dropping truth bombs. Quad the Fraud isn't just a catchy nickname, it's a warning label, because if we follow the timeline, Quad's fertility struggles go way back, 6 to 8 years ago. During her marriage to Dr. G, this isn't new. This was happening then, so all this talk about wanting a baby now, it's likely just recycled pain repackaged as a fresh storyline, and here's what really stings. Some of the information Quad has shared with the public seems inaccurate, misleading, fabricated. She's rewriting her own history to fit the narrative she wants to sell, and we're supposed to just believe it? Now, you might be wondering, where's Dr. G in all of this? Why hasn't he said anything? Why hasn't he corrected the record? Here's the thing about Dr. G, he doesn't respond. He doesn't engage. He doesn't clap back. He stays silent. And because of that silence, the full truth about their marriage and their struggles never really came out. He let her control the narrative, maybe out of respect, maybe out of exhaustion, but his silence left room for creative storytelling, and Quad, she filled that space with whatever version of events suited her best. Okay, let's get technical for a second, because if you don't know what we're talking about, this is where it all connects. That's a surgical procedure to remove fibroids from the uterus. They make an incision in your abdomen, go in, and take them out. Quad mentioned this in one of her older interviews. She talked about the surgery, the recovery, the hope that it would help her conceive. Another procedure. Another attempt to deal with the same problem. Quad referenced this in a recent video. But again, this isn't new. Both of these treatments, they're connected to the same fertility struggles she's been dealing with for years. So when she acts like this baby storyline is fresh and spontaneous, the medical history says otherwise. The timeline doesn't lie. Let's call it what it is. This I want to have a baby storyline, it's not real, it's manufactured, it's recycled. It's a plot device designed to generate sympathy and screen time, and the proof is everywhere. Old interviews, medical procedures, timelines that don't match up. Quad has known about her condition for years. She's talked about it before. She's been through treatments. So why is she acting like this is a shocking new chapter in her life? Because it makes for good TV, because it keeps her relevant, because it gives her something to talk about when the cameras are rolling, but it's not on. honest. And it's not fair to the audience who thought they were getting the real story. And here's what really hurts. This could have been powerful. If Quad had been honest, if she had said, hey, I've struggled with this for years, and I'm still navigating it, people would have connected with her. Women going through the same thing would have felt seen, supported, validated. It could have been a beautiful, relatable story, but instead, she used it as a weapon. She went after Sweet Tea for dealing with the exact same medical issues she's been dealing with for nearly a decade. She criticized her, judged her, made her feel small, all while hiding the fact that she's been in the same boat the entire time. That's not just messy, that's cruel. And it's exactly why Mariah's nickname fits so perfectly. So here we are. Mariah tried to warn us, and we didn't listen, but now the evidence is undeniable. The timeline is clear, the receipts are pulled. Quad's storyline isn't what it seems. It never was. And the question we're all left with is this: if she's willing to fabricate this, what else has been a performance? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is just getting started.
Ready.
Don't be nervous.
Boom. Perfect.
I decided to take my IVF journey to Ghana. I'm willing to travel over to the motherland for my baby.
Bravo's Married to Medicine, and also I'm one of the co-hosts of the groundbreaking talk show Sister Circle. And yes, you guessed it, I'm also an author of Cooking with Miss Quad: Live, Laugh, Love, and Eat. A typical day for me is very busy. I start at about 5 a.m. Very difficult at times to have personal time to myself, but when I do like to relax and cook and work on new recipes and enjoy time with my friends. Doesn't happen all the time, but when I can do it, I get it done. My menstrual cycles got extremely heavy, and not only heavy, but were for an elongated period of time. I experienced frequent urinations, I had lower back pains, abdomen pains, I saw myself gaining weight in my midsection. So it was a shock to me when I learned that I had fibroids. So I called a friend, and that individual was in another state, a physician friend of mine, and then he told me about Acessa. And as I did the research, I was like, this is more fitting. I was like, I wonder if there's anyone here in Atlanta or in Georgia who could perform this surgery on me. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and that's when I saw Dr. Soini Hawkins, and I was like, this says Georgia. And then as I see Georgia, I go down and I have my finger in my eyes, and I'm like, this says Alpharetta. This says Alpharetta. This is not far from my house. So, it was just like, to me at that moment, every worry, every concern, everything that I was afraid of, I had a sense of calmness.
You decide to be so transparent about your journey and going through that.
Well, I actually have been transparent about everything in my life. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. If I wanted to hide it, the people won't let me hide it. So let's just say that. But I only feel like, too, it's always important to be an example. Yeah. You might just be that inspiration that someone could use and could say, what, if she did it, then I can do it, too. I thought it was too late for me. I was throwing in the towel and giving up. And so, when I saw Quad jump out there, she was so vulnerable and so fearless, because it's a bold thing that I'm doing this season, and it takes a lot of courage. Yes, everyone wouldn't do it, but I chose proudly to do it.